Hi, Dan.
Hi, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. You?
I'm great, thanks. To be honest, I'm pretty excited as we're launching our Patreon over the next week.
Yes, what an absolute treat to start 2023 with. I'll tell you what, though, before we start, I'm parched. Do you have any drinks?
I don't. But our listeners could treat us to a dandelion and burdock every month to keep us hydrated for the podcast.
Sounds good, but what would they get out of it?
Well, for just £3 a month, they could get a full video episode with behind-the-scenes preamble and post-show chat every week. And let me tell you, that's
Wow.
usually a real treat.
That sounds like a real treat. That sounds awesome. I'm well up for that, but I don't need to because I'm involved. I don't need to pay.
No, but they'd get that a day earlier than everybody else with release on a Tuesday.
Surely, in that case, they'd also get the podcast version a day earlier as well.
Absolutely.
I'm concerned now we've become sellouts and decide to have adverts featured on the podcast. People will come for us with pitchforks.
Well, in this tier, they'd get the episode ad-free.
Excellent. Surely they can't get anything else in this tier.
Not really. Only an extra wrap-up podcast at the end of each season where we watch interviews and performances from the era we've discussed, and one watch-along episode a month where we'll watch and discuss a classic gig, film, or anything Arctic Monkeys related.
What, like Glasgow 2013, Live at the Apollo, Scummy Man, or Submarine?
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many more. But I'm not done yet. We'll also be putting out special birthday party episodes on each band member and associated band members' birthdays. And do you know what's good about that?
What's good about that?
Alex's is the 6th of January.
Amazing. Sounds like that'd be a great date to launch the Patreon then, with an Alex Turner birthday party episode ready and waiting for our patrons.
As always, Nick, you read my mind.
It's an amazing tier. And again, you get all that for just £3 a month.
Yep.
I don't see what else the next tier could possibly offer on top of that.
Well, if you're now well hydrated and you fancy grabbing a pint with me, our listeners can treat us to one in our local, the Cornerstone.
I'll be there in 10 minutes.
For just £5 a month, our listeners can access our Cornerstone tier and get all the great features already referenced on the previous tier. Plus, and I'm excited about this,
I'm on tenterhooks here. Or rusty hooks, as it were.
Nice. Well, our Cornerstone patrons will also get a monthly Last Shadow Puppets podcast where we'll do a deep dive into a track from the beginning of the catalogue all the way to the end.
Amazing. B-sides and all.
B-sides and all.
Wow, that's just outstanding. So all the previous features and the Shadow Puppets pod. Incredible.
Well, also, each subscriber gets to pick any song from any band or artist that doesn't feature an Arctic Monkeys member in the act or production, and we'll put the songs into a prize draw once a month. So, for example, you might pick Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. The winning subscriber will get a podcast in our format on that song. They'll stay in the prize draw until they win, and will refresh annually.
This all sounds amazing. Well, apart from the Ariana Grande bit, but yeah, that's a me issue. So, we're launching on Alex's birthday?
Yes, on the 6th of January, come to our Linktree or socials to access Patreon, where you can choose your tier of choice. Once you've signed up, you'll immediately start seeing the benefits with the Alex Turner birthday party episode.
This is all very exciting.
Isn't it just?
Well, we hope you're all as excited as we are and can help support us throughout 2023 and beyond. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude.
That man just yawned.
We're gonna call it
Don't Believe the Hype.
Well, that's it. After 27 episodes covering a full album via demos, B-sides, a cheeky dive into the car, and the obligatory Christmas episode via a weirdly positioned World Cup, this is it. This is what it's all been for. I hope you're proud of yourselves. You've tuned in from over 100 countries. Yes, we know VPNs are a thing. For over 13,000 streams, and this is the fruits of our labour. Yes, this is, of course, the familiar sound of Don't Believe the Hype. We set out in October to give you the stories and the insights behind the album of a generation, and by God, it took everything. That's unfair. I've quite enjoyed it, actually. But in the style of an early noughties advert on digital TV. Wait, there's more! Joining me, Nick Lee, to tell you more, it is, of course, the king of dirty dance floors and dreams of naughtiness. It is Mr. Dan Holt. Hello, Dan.
Hello. Oh, I was the king, maybe at one point. Well, I wasn't.
You were.
That's a
I've
lie.
seen you in action, mate.
Well, yeah, I was like the peasant that snuck in and maybe had it away with a couple of the servants. Maybe it's about the best. There's no king in that, you know. But yeah, it's a bit sweet because we said last week that we wasn't actually stopping for us, but we are actually going to be stopping for a few weeks. We decided to work on another project, so we really are going to be stopping. So it is a bit of an end, isn't it, for at least a little while? Not as long as the audience, but yeah,
Another project. It makes it sound like real people.
it did, didn't it? That's why I said it like that. It made me sound
yeah. More of that, please. More of that going forward.
It's another project, Maybe one day we'll say that and it actually means something. But
but that kind of gives the impression that this was a project. It's not felt like a project. I've just turned up and talked about my favourite band every week for like 5.5, 6 months. Great.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been it's been interesting, and it's been. I think this episode is interesting because we'll get to talk about maybe things that have changed throughout our opinions and things like that, maybe that have differed. But yeah, it's been interesting because. But I mean, it's a project in the sense that there was times when it didn't feel like a slog, but you go, particularly when you hit the B-side, you're like, okay, what's this going to bring? But luckily, all Arctic Monkeys songs are pretty decent, even the more difficult ones to deal with.
Even Chun-Li.
Well, exactly. There was a bit of a lull, but I think the beauty of Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys is that those 4 tracks really brought us back to album quality discussions, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I don't think we have that problem again because I'm pretty sure that all the B-sides from now on, barring maybe 1 or 2, are pretty up there and are pretty spot on from there.
It's all gold for me. It's Terry's all gold going forward.
I think it is. I don't think there's much just to say. And we've got, we're going to be coming back in a few weeks with Leave Before the Lights Come On and an episode about the 2 covers, which is all going to drop on the same day. Split into 2 smaller episodes for the covers. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Bar station's down. I can see you heading for the exits. And then that's going to be cool because there's going to be a bit of based off a brief moment. Like I should say this right. So I got annoyed with Nick a little bit by text last week because we had a little spat about what we both think Live for Lights Come On. What you don't know, Nick, is that right. So I was going out, as you know, to see Jim Jeffries, who was very good. Anyone listening, go see him. I don't know why I'm plugging like him his agent.
I think he's doing all right.
But I was just about to go out. I was making some cocktails, but I'm doing one of those DNA test things, and I couldn't. The thing with me is, and Vicky will tell you this, that if something simple that I can't do right, I lose it and I start screaming. I'm not screaming at anyone in particular. I'm screaming at the universe. And I just lost it for like half an hour and I was so angry and I was just shouting, why does nothing ever work for me? Why is everything like screaming? And then like you in the middle of that, you text me about this. So then you got the brunt of me trying to make a cocktail, shouting about this, getting stressed out and texting you. So you got caught in the crossfire, let's say, of another situation.
It's not even the most annoyed you've been with me this week either, is it?
Well, I wasn't annoyed about that. I wasn't annoyed. I'm just disappointed. Ding, 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 ding. It's not. It is you. Yeah, it isn't me that's wrong. It's you. No, I was more shocked by some of the statements that were made so brash by you regarding TV and film, but we won't get into that because we've got a lot to talk about tonight. This is a whole episode of tangents, so we don't need to go in tangents because this is just a tangent about this album, basically, isn't it, as a whole? So for this, and it will be time coded in the notes, but we're going to do information action ratio in a second, which is going to be general about the album, because we've got a lot to discuss within that. It's not just going to be me talking. We'll
too much to discuss over a bucket of balls, would one say?
You may say that, yeah. Are you going to do the lyrical arm then now?
It's
a good one. You earned it. I think you deserve it. You earned it.
It could be the last one of the series, so
no,
I probably should.
Go on.
Yeah, let's do it anyway.
Very nice. So we're going to be doing that. There'll be some interaction. Then we're going to be doing. We're bringing a round back that we haven't seen for a while, a very long time, since When the Sun Goes Down, the Ghost Cookies segment. We've got the reviews to discuss. We're just going to briefly touch on a couple. from some decent publications like The Guardian, Enemy, and Rolling Stone. And then we're going to do some general chat on this. We're going to have a rundown of our least to favorite tracks, which is going to be very interesting. I'm very excited about that. Then we're going to be discussing our Dream Live set. And then we're going to be doing our top rundown of the B-sides as well, from least to favorite. Then we'll say our favorite lyric, our favorite musical moments, and then we'll get into you people's lovely feedback, which I've collated it all more or less for us to discuss. So yeah, should we get into it? Because there's a lot to say. Scylla.
Don't go Scylla Black. It'll just annoy me.
Scylla Miles Kane Black is. I don't know where I was going with that. There was nothing else. I had nothing on that then.
I came into this in such a good mood, and now it's just going downhill already. 8 minutes in.
That woman has a statue in Liverpool. How dare you?
Yeah. It'd have been better off just putting a festering corpse up instead, so I could throw shit.
I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I'm intrigued about I have no opinion on the woman, really. She was a staple of my childhood on TV, but I have no opinion of her in any other way. So we won't get into it, but I'm intrigued. Colour me intrigued. Maybe we'll talk about it in our next project. And because we could discuss people individually on that as well. But yeah.
Can't libel the dead.
She is on the statue. I think her estate can sue you, right? I think the statue is outside the Cavern Club, isn't it? Actually, so that'll annoy you more as well. Anyway, so Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not is the debut studio album released on the 23rd of January 2006 by Domino Recording Company and on the 21st of February 2006 in the United States. It was recorded at The Chapel, South Thoresby, and Two Fly Studios, Sheffield, except Mardy Bum, which was recorded at Telstar Munich and produced by Alan Smythe. The album became the fastest-selling debut album in British music history, selling over 360,000 copies in its first week, and remains the fastest-selling debut album by a band. In the US, it also became the second fastest-selling independent record label debut album in history, and was certified gold by the RIAA. The album also went to number 1 in Australia and Ireland. Among its accolades included being named the best album of 2006 by Time magazine, winning the Brit Award for Best British Album, winning the 2007 Mercury Music Prize, and receiving a Grammy Award nomination for Best Alternative Music Album. It has been ranked in several greatest album lists, including 371 in Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time, 19 in Enemy's 500 greatest albums of all time, slightly higher, and 30 in Rolling Stone's 100 best debut albums of all time. The album's title was taken from a line from the novel Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, written by Alan Sillitoe. The name was chosen after Turner recognized similarities between the two works and the appropriateness of the title. He said that it's good because the book is called Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, and that's kind of what the album is. So there's a link there. And also there's a lot of people saying a lot of things about us, and you don't have control over it. Interesting that he kind of referenced the book rather than the film when he said he got the title. Yeah. I think a lot of people assume it was the film, but he does say book in his quote there. So the album's cover is a black and white photograph of Chris McClure, a close friend of the band, who is the lead singer for the Violet May and the brother of Revan and the Makers lead singer John McClure. The picture was taken in the early hours of the morning at the Corova Bar in Liverpool. The band had given him, his cousin, and his best friend 70 quid to spend on a night out. Oh, the days when 70 quid could get you a decent night out. Back in the student days, Font bar for 10 cocktails, 20 quid, and then Fifth Harvey spend another 20 quid in there. Kebab, bus home. Yep, all within the price.
Nowadays, you spend that on your accompaniments before you've even gone out these days.
I spent that on. I think I spent nearly on 2 rounds at the Apollo last week. I think it was insane. But yeah, it was double JD and Kurtz before. The image caused some controversy when Lawrence Grewer of NHS Scotland criticised it for reinforcing the idea that smoking is okay. The band's product manager denied the accusation and in fact suggested the opposite. You can see from the image smoking is not doing him the world of good, which is a good point. Billboard advertisements for the album used a similar image to the cover picture, but without the cigarette. Digitally, the album cover is often modified away from black and white. In 2009, the album placed at number 9 in MTV's Greatest Album Ever online poll. The album was also included in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. It was ranked 30 in Rolling Stone's 100 Best Debut Albums of All Time. As of May 2021, the album has remained on the UK indie chart for 706 weeks. The technical production team on this one, as we know, as we've said, it's Jim Abyss on production, recording, and he mixed Mardy Bum. Alan Smythe did production on Mardy Bum, an additional recording on track 11, which I believe would be When the Sun Goes Down. Ewan Davies did the recording. Andrus Bear did the recording on Mardy Bum. Simon Barneycott, we had to mention him one last time, didn't we? Did the mixing, and Owen Skinner was the mixing assistant. The design on the album was done by Juno at Liverpool, by Alexandra Wolkowicz photography, and Andy Brown photography. So I mentioned there, Nick, the best alternative music album at 2007 Grammys. Okay, that they didn't win, as we know. The other three people who didn't win, along with Arctic Monkeys, were The Eraser, a Tom York solo album.
Yeah.
Show Your Bones by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. At War with the Mystics by the Flaming Lips. Who do you think won the Grammy then? So those Flaming Lips, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Tom York, and Arctic Monkeys didn't win it. Who do you think won it?
2007. Did the White Stripes have an album that year?
I don't know if they did, but they're not on this list.
Well, no, they probably wouldn't have had an album that year. I think it was the year before they had one. Oh, 2006. Oh. The Killers?
Nah, it was Hot Fuss was 2004, and then... but I think they would have been 2008 Grammys, because didn't it come out in 2007? The second album, so.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank here. Considering this is my era, I can't think what else would be.
Yeah, I mean, but it is the Grammys. The best alternative music album winner at the 2007 Grammys was Saint Elsewhere by Gnarls Barkley.
I mean, it's very much a one-hit album, really. I quite liked it when it came out.
I remember when.
Yeah, great song.
I remember when the Grammys lost their mind and gave that to over not only Arctic Monkeys, who had the fastest selling debut album in the UK. Clearly, that was the best alternative music album of that year. Don't think anyone could dispute me on that. Let's be honest. I'm not saying they should win every time. I'm just saying I don't think there was a better alternative music album in 2007 than that album, considering it's gone down as a generational album.
I mean, I'll tell you who doesn't remember when. Bloody CeeLo Green's Victim. That's who. Now, I'm breaking up with a clip.
He's not dead.
When Arctic Monkeys did win an award. This is from the Mercury Music. But it's that year.
Arctic Monkeys! For their album, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I Am Not. And if the Arctic Monkeys could please come up here to collect your award. Up here, gentlemen, please.
I'll take that. Somebody call 999. Richard Hawley's been robbed.
Thanks everyone. And who else agrees that Jules don't look like he was born in 1958, does he? Oh, everybody does. Jules don't look like he was born. Anyway, cheers. I've got nothing else to say that's funny as that.
I mean, I don't know if it's as funny as that, but definitely. No, thanks ever so much, everyone that's helped us and that, and clickety click.
That's all you can hear, isn't it? Trying to get digital.
And no, because normally, I don't go to a band that's, I suppose, sold as many records as we have. But to put it bluntly, but but it's still, we're very, very pleased with it, because it's just like good tunes, really. That's like what I think we try to do. Oh, steady on. And and no tricks, really, because there's too many people trying to do too many tricks. So thank you ever so much anyway. Push on.
You know what? The two points about that is that one, it's kind of the first one where they didn't. I know they make a joke, but they don't make the Enemy Awards or the Brit Awards. They're kind of taking the piss, aren't they? But they don't, because I think they realise that that's quite a big moment. And again, it's one of those quotes where people could take what he's saying as arrogance, but he's making a good point. It's true that acts that sell as many records as they do don't normally win the Mercury Music Prize. So for an album that was that big to then win it, like the next one was probably like Adele win it for 21. Yeah. So that was probably the next one that did do that as well. It's very rare for a Mercury, but the Mercury Prize is an award that means something. I mean,
only a year or two before this, Anthony and the Johnsons won it, which was just an album that no one had heard of, basically, like, in the mainstream anyway.
Yeah, but he did. But you did. You know what I did? I did think about that line from Who the Fuck Arctic Monkeys about the funny looks and the sniggers, because you do wonder if some of the people in the crowd are quite bitter and they take what he's saying.
From Guillemots looks livid.
Yeah. Like, you think they're kind of taking it the wrong way, that they're being cocky, or like, we sold so many records. So, but it's the exact opposite of what he's saying. They just don't know how to articulate. They're so nervous that when he's saying to be too many people doing tricks and stuff like that, again, I know exactly what he's trying to say, and he's right.
You hot shit.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, should we? Oh yeah, I just wanted to discuss the charts for this one. So the weekly charts for it, when it came out, it was number 1 in Australia, as we've said. The other sort of higher numbers were number 9 in Belgium's Ultra Top Flanders, number 6 in the hit listen, obviously, but it did sound like Hitler. Hit listen Danish album, number 6, number 8 in the top 100 Dutch albums that week. And the top in the Irish chart, number 9 in the Oricon Japanese albums, number 5 in the New Zealand's RMNZ chart, number 12 in the Norwegian album charts, and number 1 in Scotland, obviously, and number 1 here, number 1 in the UK independent album, number 24 in the US Billboard 200, which is actually quite a lot, because I mean, if you get to number 1 in the Billboard chart, you've made a lot of money, because that's like all of America, isn't it? So that's pretty good to be at 24 in that for a new band coming out of England. And number 1 in the US independent album Billboard chart in there. And at year end, the sort of the album was still at number 9 in the Irish album chart and still at number 4 in our chart. As well. It was still number 33 in the European Hot 100 by the end of the year. And funnily enough, I thought this was interesting. By the end of, so it kind of slunk to like, at the end of 2013, it was like 155 in the album chart, which at that point, it had been out 7 years, but AM probably brought up a bit. But then 2018, it got to number 65 in the UK album chart. So that was obviously when Tranquility came out. People were really this, because I assume at this point we're including streams in these charts.
And vinyl as well, push it up a fair bit.
And in 2020, it got to number 51 in the UK album chart. After all those years, and I assume that was lockdown listening. I don't know. Yeah. And it actually got to number 51 in 2021. It actually got all the way to number 37 in the album chart, the UK album chart, in 2022. So when they announced the car, I assume. Well, it was also soon. So yeah, still quite. And at the decade end charts in 2009, it was at number 84. But in 2019, it was at number 18 in the UK vinyl chart. So still people buying it. I recently bought it on vinyl myself. So there you go. But yeah, should we move into a little Ghost Cookies? When it's been a while.
You could say they're selling like ghost cookies.
Do it one more time, because we're not going to do it again. Go on, one more time.
Have it back in it.
Go on, one more time.
You could say they're selling like ghost cookies.
I mean, hopefully we get a good run of it. We get the 1.5, we'll hopefully have one. And then the first 2 tracks, we'll have it. Yeah. The new one. Yeah. So in the UK, so there always is, I don't know when they cap this, but based off the fact of, I want to say it ends after the first month, this. But it doesn't say that when. It's not now. It'll be higher than this now. So it did 360,000 in the first week. So I can only assume that this would be, I don't know. They kind of stop at a certain point, I guess. It doesn't really specify when they stop capping it. Do you know what I mean? But I guess it's the number when it stopped. That was the biggest it got to, and then it probably sells very slowly now, doesn't it? After that time.
Oh, so it definitely went platinum like several times, didn't it? So I think I'm trying to work out. So I think platinum is around. I'm just thinking out loud here. This is going to be great radio, isn't it? So I think platinum is it about five? I think there's a couple of 100,000 to go platinum. Probably a bit more. 2.5 million.
2.1 million, and it went.
I'm quite happy.
Yeah, you're very good. Yeah. It went 7 times platinum, so that would imply that 300,000 is what you need to go platinum. So that would imply that it went, 2.1 divided by 7 would be 300,000. So that would imply that it went platinum in its first week, then, didn't it? Because it went over that. Yeah. So it went gold in America. What would you say? How many records do you think it sold in America to go gold?
See, knowing the Americans, everything's got to be bigger and better, hasn't it? But it's not going to be. It's certainly not going to be that many.
It's not platinum though, is it? So
800,000. Okay.
500,000.
Okay.
Sold in American copies. Yeah.
Which is an amazing number for something that was released on
a new little
UK independent label.
Yeah, it went platinum in Australia by selling 70,000. Australia.
No, a little northern band out of where?
I just said northern.
No, you said a little northern band out of Manchester, mate. It's a good job we're not recording this. So you're gonna feel like such a dick when you go back and watch this.
I didn't. I just said a little northern town, and then I said something else, and you've mistook what I said.
No,
for Manchester. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I
will be shocked if I said Manchester there. But anyway,
prepare to be shocked.
Okay. I think the lady. No. Australia.
Gave that up.
Platinum Australia 70,000. It went gold in Canada 50,000 sold. 2 times platinum in Denmark 40,000. So still 20,000 to go platinum in Denmark. Size probably 25,000 in Italy gold. 100,000 in Japan. Record sold went gold, and 7,500 went gold in New Zealand. So good figures all around.
Yeah, well done.
So, shall we move into some reviews? The Guardian said, their debut album suggests there is plenty more that is remarkable about Arctic Monkeys. In recent years, British rock has sought to be all-inclusive, cravenly appealing to the widest audience possible. Oasis started the trend, hooking mums and dads with familiar-sounding riffs and classic influences. But it has reached its apotheosis with Coldplay, who write lyrics that deal only in the vaguest generalities, as if anything too specific might alienate potential record buyers. Over the course of whatever people say, you can hear the generation gap opening up again. Good news if you think rock music should be an iconoclastic progressive force, rather than a branch of the light entertainment industry. Alex Turner can write lyrics that induce a universal shudder of recognition. And while Arctic Monkeys' sound is based entirely on music from the past 5 years, the laconic, distorted vocals bear the influence of the Strokes, the choppy punk-funk guitars have been filtered through Franz Ferdinand, the frantic rhythms and dashes of ska come by the Libertines. Turner's refusal to tone down his dialects probably wouldn't have happened without the West Side accented Futureheads. Thrillingly, their music doesn't sound apologetic for not knowing the intricacies of rock history, nor does it sound wistful for a rose-tinted past its makers were too young to experience. Instead, Arctic Monkeys bundle their influences together with such compelling urgency and snotty confidence that they sound like a kind of culmination, the band all the aforementioned bands have been leading to. Yeah, although I agree with segments of that, it was like, I don't agree with the fact that they were only based off the past 5 years, although the Strokes and everyone had that. You know, A, you've got all the 90s hip hop influences in there.
Yeah.
B, you've got all Alex's influences growing up that we found out about over the years and things seeping in from there. I think the ska doesn't come from the Libertines. I think the ska probably comes from ska and stuff like that from back then. I think they had a lot more influences than this review has given them credit for. I don't think they're, although I do think they are the culmination of that sound, as we've said before, all becoming perfected. I don't think that was the only influences they had. And I think the NME review that I'll read now is a much better, has a much better understanding of where the band were at. I think they nail it. So essentially, this is a stripped down punk rock record with every touchstone of great British music covered. It has the Britishness of the Kinks, the melodic nous of the Beatles, the sneer of the Sex Pistols, the wit of the Smiths, the groove of the Stone Roses, the anthems of Oasis, and the clatter of the Libertines. Of course, the Monkees actually spent their teens listening to hip-hop, but where that really shows is in the lyrics and the frenetic pace at which Alex hurls them out of his gob. He's a master of observation, master of deception and subterfuge. Unlike, say, Morrissey or Jarvis, he doesn't use his eye-spying skills to strike a blow for the freaks and misfits of this world. And that's exactly why they work so well. They're songs for everyone, from the shy romantic who's hopeless with the opposite sex to the guy who'd still take you home even though he can't see through your fake tan. What Turner does have in common with Mozart and Jarvis is that he's a funny little fucker, and his humour is so easy to identify with that mere observation serves him more than adequately. Forget the flowery fantasies conjured up by Dickensian Doherty. These are tales of the scum-ridden streets as they are in 2006, not 1906. I think they pretty much nail that enemy there in that review.
That's absolutely spot on. I can't argue with a single word of that. It's got all the influences that we'd identified in previous episodes, name checked in there. That is absolutely spot on. That's probably the most on point review I've heard.
Yeah, I should have got the reviewer's name really so we could give him credit, but I didn't. He works for Enemy.
Well done, mate. Well done, generic Enemy journalist 43.
Rolling Stone said, specifically on the American success of the album, will America warm to Arctic Monkeys? The band lacks a single as undeniably hooky as, say, Franz Ferdinand's Take Me Out. But whatever delivered more than that, a start-to-finish rush of invigorating riffs and pointed narratives that heightens with repeated exposure. They made an album that US punk fans of several generations could enjoy, if not claim as their own. It seems unlikely that this world of chavs in tracksuits with pull cues in fists will translate to the average Fall Out Boy fan, but for now, Arctic Monkeys are turning their cold, small-town roots into callow, Anglo cool. Yeah.
I disagree on the Franz Ferdinand point. I think they've got some good hooks. I think it's different with Arctic Monkeys because Franz Ferdinand's more like art rock sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't think they've got a. I've never had off the first album like an earworm, whereas with Franz Ferdinand you might. I guess maybe that's what they mean. You know what I mean? Arctic Monkeys have good riffs, but I wouldn't say they're like hooks that earworm. It's more than that. That it all works, doesn't it? So,
yeah,
maybe
it's all good.
So yeah, that's the reviews. So we should move into a little general chat before we get to the lists, the famous lists.
It only came back to me this week, but I remember because album release day was on a Friday back then, was it not? Was it a Friday or was it a Monday?
I was too young to be really buying albums. Well, I wasn't really buying them on the regular. No, as I say, Arctic Monkeys changed my career, my music taste, so I wasn't buying albums on the regular.
I'm trying to think because the charts were a Sunday. Yeah, so Monday would have been the release day, and I remember I was going off to Fifth Ave, a club that's been name checked many times, and I went to my friend Adam's
and it's gone
in Ancoats. It's gone now, yeah. Well, that's once Indie died, Fifth Ave died like 15 years later.
Well,
it went eventually.
Yeah, Fifth Ave's gone, not Adam's flat. Fifth Ave's gone, yeah.
The flat's still there. He's not there, but the flat's there. But yeah, I was going to his in Ancoats for some drinks before we went out, and I got the train into Manchester Piccadilly and went to W.H. Smith and bought the album, and we must have listened to it about 6 times before we went out. And then went out to a club for an album playback where they just played the whole album from start to finish.
Those are the days.
And now I think we'd
Just
pretty
kill
much every other
ourselves.
album. Every other album after that.
We're wrapping up.
Early.
I feel like we're wrapping up the album, wrapping up our youth, and we're just wrapping up our lives at this point in this episode.
Yeah, we might as well just end it all now. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
No, the day this came out, I don't think I'd already heard it because someone gave me, my cousin, as we know, gave me the album before it came out. Because if you remember, it leaked, so he gave me the album, not Beneath the Boardwalk, the actual album, and I had it already. So I didn't purchase it. And as we know, I went and stole the album cover from Morrison's out of the sleeve because I'd already had the CD just to complete it. And then I never bought it until recently when I bought it on vinyl.
I'm trying to think which the Favourite Worst Nightmare leaked because we got it. Me and you both got it at the same time, and it had that weird skip at the end of Balaclava.
They were going on YouTube, weren't they? And then I think on LimeWire, I think as well. Yeah. And we were I remember very distinctly being in your mum and dad's hall where you used to have a computer near the front door next to the stairs on a desk. And then it was like, really slow internet and slow computer then, wasn't it, to try listen to it. So we were just trying to load Brianstorm. No, I'd already heard Brianstorm because I think Zane had played it.
It's on the radio.
Trying to hear Teddy Picker, it'd be like, oh.
Come on, we're gonna get there.
Yeah,
it's the longest song we'd ever done by that point.
But yeah, obviously more on those tunes soon. Yeah, that was a very, very interesting. Yeah. I don't know what I was going to say. I had nothing to end that with. I was going to say it's a very interesting time, but yeah, no. I think generally my perception of this album before this pod was before this series was I hadn't properly listened to it for a long time. I'd occasionally crack it on if I was going out. I'd sometimes put it on when I'm getting ready to go out, still to try and capture that vibe of being young, which is sadly lost. And I didn't think, well, maybe I'd got a little bit snobby with it, if I'm being honest, since Tranquility and gone like, oh well, that was then. I can't listen to it now because I'm past that, And re-engaging with it has made me fall in love with it again as an album. And I've listened to it, and I'm hoping I haven't listened to the next one we're doing a lot for a long time, so I think hopefully the same will happen there. So yeah, I think it's I've reignited my love for it and has made me think differently about it, perhaps as well. But I would say more so for this series than any other. This is the nostalgic series and the nostalgic album that take us back to our youth time. I don't think it's going to be the same pod from here on out, but yeah, you obviously, it was still your favorite album, so you obviously you'd never moved away from it, so it's probably a different experience. But yeah, it's brought me back. I'm
still 19 in my head, Dan. I'm still.
You're not 19 forever.
And that's when it started going downhill.
I distinctly remember being in 42nd Street nightclub in Manchester, or 42's, on my 20th. On my 20th birthday at midnight. So I was 19 and then I was 20 at midnight, I think. And I just remember Not 19 Forever coming on, and I was kind of crying. I was like, I've lost my teens. I'm old now. Like when I turned 30, I thought, fucking, I'd give anything to turn 20. And what the fuck? That was nothing. That meant nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I remember that. I had to pull myself together. But
let's pull you together. I'll pull you together with the band's acceptance speech for the Brit Awards 2007 for Best British Album. How's about that?
Oh, go on.
Then. We rediscover our youth with that, can't we?
And the winners of the MasterCard British Album of the Year are the boys from the Steel City, the Arctic Monkeys. Unfortunately, they can't be here tonight, so I'll take this back to Sheffield for them. But they did send you this message, so have a listen to this.
Hello! Sorry we couldn't be there this year at the Brit Awards. I hope you're having a wonderful time. As you can see, we are. And we're busy rehearsing for the year ahead, so that's why we couldn't be there.
We're thrilled to receive the award for Best British Album. Our debut had a lot of recognition, but there's no doubt that this is a very special award and much appreciated by us all. Thank you.
A couple of things to take from that. One, bastard.
Do you think I feel like he'd seen the video already,
Yeah,
Sean Bean?
that's my second point. He'd seen the video. Yeah. Oh, look at these scamps. Yeah.
That's not Nick at the end, is it?
No, I can't. We looked it up when I was around yours the other week. We watched that and we looked up who it was, and I've completely forgotten.
Did we? Oh, mate, we did so much in that.
It was
14-hour session that I don't remember the
we
intricacies.
completed YouTube. We literally completed YouTube, mate. Never thought
it's ended now.
The Alex sarcasm is on full display there, I think. Just reading the lines of things. And the last thing, the fact that Sean Bean says, "I'll take it back to Sheffield for him." Like as soon as he passes the sign that says "Welcome to Sheffield," he'll just bump into it. You know, like when you go to like if you meet someone American or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're from England. Oh my God, I love the British accent. Do you know the Queen?" It's like, "Oh yeah, we all because we're such a small island, we just all know each other." It's mental. I bumped into her putting the bins out the other day. Yeah, so weird.
It's probably much worse when someone says that to like a black person and assumes they might know the other black person. That's probably the epitome of that. Yeah.
I've seen that. Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's bloody taking it back. He probably doesn't even live in fucking Sheffield anymore, Sean Bean, I'm sure. But he's the right person to kind of accept that, isn't he? I suppose. But yeah, because obviously Andy had at that point, hadn't he? So
he was off. He'd gone by that point. I mean, this was 2007, so they were in America on tour. Like after, like
Nick.
This is
Nick
a year after the album's come out.
Nick might have thought it wasn't appropriate for him to accept the award, considering he wasn't in the band for the album. I'd imagine that's why he's not there. Yeah.
Well, it's the same with another clip that I've got lined up later that Andy isn't on and Nick isn't. So yeah, fair enough. So principles.
Is there anything you want to say about the album or our general chat about it, or do you want to move into the lists?
Well, yeah. So before we move on this, going into this podcast, I think we said on the episode 1, which is still going up, like ridiculously. The figures for episode 1, it's like pushing up towards 3,000 streams now, which is absolutely bonkers. Just wish the rest would catch up, but that's another matter. No, it's good. It's fine. But yeah, so I said in that episode that this was my first album, my favorite album of theirs, just purely based on the nostalgia and where we were in our lives when it came out. I'd only tended to cherry pick songs from it to listen to rather than listen to the full album. But yeah, it's still up there. It's been great rediscovering it, and it's made me feel at least 10 minutes younger each week. So that's been.
I do think that it'll be interesting by the end of all this to see what our favorite albums kind of are, if they're still the same ones.
I don't think mine will be. Mine's already.
I'm unsure about mine. I don't think this one could become mine, if I'm being honest. I think it's my favorite for many reasons, but it could never become my favorite, I don't think. But yeah, I'm unsure about mine. Mine could stay my favorite. There's another 2 that I could see maybe taking over it, but
same. I've got 2 that are taking. Well, one of them's very close to taking it over, and then the other one possibly could as well. But yeah. It'll all have changed. Probably all have changed by series 2, to be honest.
Yeah, once we heard that first note of Brianstorm, everything else would go out the window. That first album, shit. No,
rubbish.
Yeah, it's been, and it's just been a crazy 6 months. Yeah, it's been great. Loved every second of it, and there's so much more. We're not even like the meat of it all, are we? This is just the beginning. This is we're not even there, We've had a little taster recently, but of like some more stuff, but like with the lyrics and that, we've not even hit anywhere near where we're going to be. So yeah, absolutely, can't wait to go on, even though we're here. But yeah, it's been very good, and it's been good to get to listen to these songs over and over again while we do it and stuff. So yeah, and we had a new album come out during it as well. So yeah. Can you say? What more could you ask for? How many albums they'll do before we're done? Who knows? At least one.
Maybe we should write it down on a piece of paper and seal it up, and then when we finished, we can get it out and see if we were right.
Or we could just go back and watch the video footage.
That's
or
a
listen
good
to it
idea.
on podcast form.
Yeah. And
That will be around forever.
You can see yourself saying Manchester as well. When you...
All right, we'll see. Check this out later.
I can't wait to download this and send it.
I can't even remember what the context
No,
what the context was now.
It doesn't matter now.
I'll be relying on the fact that even if I'm wrong when I hear it, that you'll just forget.
Well,
yeah.
The thing is now, I'm not even going to be able to cut it out because if I'm going to keep calling back to it, it's going to be really weird. You don't need to
cut it out. I'm not bothered by it. I don't want you to cut it out. I just won't. I just didn't realise I said Manchester, and there's not one part of me that thinks that I said Manchester. I still believe that you misheard it. So if I say it, then that just means that it was a proper brain fart. So I don't need to be cut out.
You've got me second-guessing myself now.
Well, this is what I used to do with the ladies.
Yeah.
One minute you say no, next minute you're saying yeah.
Stop gaslighting me, Dan.
No, I never done that before. Yeah, so should we do the list then? Because this is really the exciting, isn't it? I'm very excited because we don't know. We're in the same boat as you at this point. We don't have a bloody clue. So should we start with
look at all the crossing out I've got on my list.
Look at you doing it. Yeah, I did a lot of changing, I was listening to them, and I'd be going, oh. So we'll start with the album from least favourite down to favourite. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's 13. I actually looked at it. It's good if I looked at it because I looked at it today and it said 12. There was 12 and I went, oh God, I've missed one out. I must have missed one out and I was like changing them around and I was like, what have I missed out? Where's it go? But yeah, so it'll be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. I know I'm losing it. Apparently, we'll see. But yeah,
I'm just messaging your girlfriend on Facebook now to tell her to like put your phone charger in the fridge or something, so I can just convince you that you're going mental.
I did used to do that with one of my own flatmates that kind of was annoying me. I'd say I'd do
because
stuff. I'd say stuff or do stuff to like make him think he was losing it. And I'd always say stuff to disconcert him. Like we had a flat with 2 floors and stairs, and I used to say stuff like, I could probably like on a weekend push you down those stairs and no one would know for like 3 days. And he's like, why are you saying that? And I go, yeah. Let's go. Just thinking about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Watch those pots. If you know what I know. Anyway, so what should we say? I'll go. So number 13. So this is the Grand Valen. Number 13. So our least favorite. And again, it doesn't mean we don't like the song. It's just we have to.
No. I wanted to caveat that straight away.
Yeah. There's none that we don't like any at all. But my number 13 is. You probably couldn't see for the lights, but you were staring straight at me. Oh, it's the same. It's the same. Yeah, it just it's one of them where it just doesn't cut. 12 and 13 could easily have been swapped round for me, and when we say 12, I'll say why I didn't put it last. But it's just this song there just isn't enough there for me to say I like it, but there's just not enough. It's very short. There's not anything particularly special about it. Although there's a funny lyric with Frank Spencer. It's not been. We haven't put it last because of the hell of the Frank Spencer episode.
I was going to say, does it also give Halloween memories of trying to start a clip? So
no, because I still think that the Frank Spencer line is a very clever and witty and funny lyric. So that's fine. But it's just not good enough compared to the rest of the album to survive. I don't think. So was that pretty much why you put it there, or
that was the same? And I should also point out I've taken emotion out of it, even though this is my favourite album of theirs at the moment.
I haven't
because of nostalgia. I'm taking the nostalgia element out of it and just
I'm
trying to do it based on the quality of the song myself.
I haven't done that entirely, but I would.
Yeah, I'm just looking down my list, and I haven't after all.
No, I've gone with a bit of both, but I'd say sentiment, because it's not just because of recency bias. It's just the sentiment and the emotion of talking about them again has reminded me how much I like them then. It's not like now I go, oh, that's much better than I thought. It's just I would have done a similar list then. It's been 20 odd years. I don't remember. Well, nearly 20 years. I don't remember. But so my number 12 is. In fact, you say yours. I said the last one, so you say yours first.
You're gonna hate me. Dance floor.
Please do. I don't hate you. I thought you were gonna say something else. I might have hated you then. Mine isn't dance floor, so we differ there. Mine is vampires. Perhaps vampires is a bit strong, but the reason for that, before you tell us all, because yours is way more interesting to talk about. Mine. Vampires are 12 could have been the last one. I just don't think it's great. But the reason it beats you probably is because it has a lot of experimentation in it, and I think there's a lot of the future bands you'll see in there. And I like the lyrics. I like what they talk about, and I think it's a cool song that's quite funky. And there's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't trump any of the others for me, so I put it there. But it beats you probably because of the experimentalness, and it's just more of a finished article, I'd say. So tell us all why you've put. I bet you're good dance for.
I don't know, It's just it's been done. And I don't know if my view is kind of.
I'm shocked.
The band might feel the same. I get the sense they only play it because it was the song that broke them and stuff like that. I think if the band could get away without playing this song, they would. I think they'd ditch it from the set list if it was remotely possible.
I think there was a time, but I think they really fell in love with it during the AM time or just before because of the way the crowd react to it. I think they like playing it live because of the crowd reaction. So I think there is a point when they felt like that. Like every band does that with their biggest hit, don't they? But yeah, I think I'm shocked. Not that you would put it there because I don't have it particularly high either. But I thought when I didn't have it particularly high that you would, and you'd question me on it because I thought that you would have put it high. I thought you would have had a sentimental attachment to it as this indie floor filler and as this what is one of the biggest indie songs of all time and will go down in the records as one of the biggest. And
I thought
I'm saying that you're thinking of shit.
I am a bit because I've just realised some of the ones. I'd say I just realised some of the ones I've put above it. We can all work out the ones I've put above it. I mean, it's a process of elimination, isn't it? There's no secret here. But yeah. I'm starting to second guess.
You've done now.
Again now.
No,
that wasn't enough crossing out on this.
So let's move on to number. It will be interesting to see.
11.
But number 11 for me is red light indicates doors are secured. Oh, same. Nice. So you think dance floors are worse song? Very interesting. I put it here because I really like it. I think it's more lyrics driven. I think the lyrics were great, particularly when we were younger. But I just don't think it musically, even though it was pretty cool when we listened to it, and it's got these kind of rock elements to it and stuff like that, and hip hoppy. I just don't think it's better than what anything above it is doing. That's the simple answer is why it's where. I think it's better than the two that have come before it in my list, Vampires and You Probably, but I don't think it's better for me than anything else after that. So, yeah, that's why it's there.
Again, it's not that we don't like any of these tracks. It's just the order that they've fallen in.
Look at you now. You're scared of the reaction here, so you're starting to.
I'm just
realised
second
you've got
guessing
red light
myself.
indicates doors are secured above. I bet you look on the dance floor song
I'm a very
Olympics.
very anxious person at the best of times, and now I've just brought a whole new level of anxiety on myself. I need to think about some things.
I just don't think it could be any higher than that in the list because there's too much good stuff after that. I think to have it there. I mean, look, after this point, we're getting onto all gold more or less. So I'm sure if we differ, there's going to be that kind of similar way you put dance floor. We might think, oh, that's weird that you put that there. So what's your number 10 then?
Vampires.
Oh, right, so you put vampires. See, that's where I put dance floor.
So we're not differing that much, really.
We're not differing that much, really. It's just that you put dance floor lower than vampires. I think dance floor is, for all the reasons I said, I thought you would think it's this big indie song, and it will always be around. And it's this kind of also a pop tune, and it's when it first came out, it was very exciting. I remember the video, and I remember it felt like nothing I'd ever heard. I'd felt like nothing I'd ever heard before. And it's funny how the Sands of Time have turned it into that kind of like, that one. But it was exciting. So yeah.
You know what, man? If we'd done this list at the start of the series, Dance Floor would have been right up there, and Vampires would probably maybe have been last. But that Vampires episode was probably one of my favorite episodes, and B, I gained a new appreciation for the track. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's. I think it would have been. I think it would have been lower for me at the start of the series, funnily enough. And actually, yeah, Vampires, you're right, might have been last. But yeah, I think Dance Floor would have been lower than 10th, because I would have been like, oh yeah, Dance Floor. Yeah, I just done it, but the episode like covering it was brought back a bottle full for it. So yeah. So yeah, number 10. So we're kind of on the same track there. We just switched up Dance Floor. Well, it'd be interesting to see, because we're now in the top 10 to see where we differ here. I think I've got one that's going to be way higher than where you've got it, but we'll see. So for number 9, I've put When the Sun Goes Down.
Okay. I mean, it's not much lower than I've got it, to be honest.
What's your number 9 then?
My number 9, I've got Riot Van. If it had been the demo version, it might be higher. After we had the discussion about the lyrics in the demo version.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd fell on the other side of the Riot Van lyrics. I prefer the album ones, but yeah, the reason When the Sun Goes Down there is I love it. It's a classic, but I just don't think it's as good as the others. Basically, it just doesn't do as much for me anymore. Maybe I've heard it too much. Maybe, there was a time when I would have thought it was amazing again, but I just don't think it just doesn't interest me more than the others. And I'm sure people will be shocked about how low down it is compared to some of the others, maybe, because it is a classic, but it just doesn't. It's not one where, like, if I don't hear it live, I'm bothered anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's not like one of them. So yeah, but I would like to hear it if it was played live, but it don't bother me anymore if I don't hear it at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's your choice. It's your own decisions.
It is, yeah. It is, you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, so why have you put right? So why is Riot Van? Just think it's not. So you kind of said you were doing it off. You were trying to, for the most part, do it off song quality. So I guess you put it there because it's a bit basic in your view.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and again, it's another one that I gained a new appreciation for, like doing the episode on it, but it just doesn't get in ahead of the other 8 for me. Nothing against it. Just does.
I had a similar new appreciation of it, which we'll get to, which was obviously much bigger than yours. Shall we do number 8? What have you put number 8?
So my number 8 is Still Take You Home.
Okay. My number 8 is From the Ritz to the Rubble, which I thought might surprise you. Yeah, when I did that, I thought you're going to be much higher with that, so you're going to be surprised by the low-down nature of that. But for me, it's a really good tune. I really like some of the lyrics in it, and I really like the vibe it has. But I just don't think it's that. It's not better than that. Again, but I just don't like. I never just like. I would say listen to it again. I got a new appreciation of it. But if I was being honest, before this album, I would never play it before we started the pod anymore, because I was kind of like, oh yeah, that one, the bouncer one. But no, it is a really good tune, but I just prefer the others on it. But I mean, it's a hard album to, when you're doing it, you're like, oh yeah, but they've all got their own merits, haven't they? Like the first few are easy because it's like, okay, well, they're obviously the lesser ones of the album. And plus, look, I've got one that other people would probably disagree with way higher than most people would have it for different reasons. So one kind of has to be pushed back, and it was Ritz, fortunately. And what did you have
Same
there? Sorry,
reason-
did you say Still Take You Home?
I Still Take You Home. Same reasoning, really. Different song. Yeah.
I don't think that's mad where you've got Still Take You Home by any stretch. So yeah, I would I think that's absolutely fine on there. Yeah, I think they're both kind of in that same place. I think people would put Ritz higher probably in terms of the status, but I think in my head they're in a similar place. Still Take You Home and Ritz in terms of quality. Maybe that's unfair, but I no, I don't know. Yeah, I just Ritz doesn't fully grab me as much as it grabs other people. I'd say most of the time.
Fair enough.
But so your number 8 was Still Take You Home. My number 7 is Still Take You Home. So I wasn't far off the position that you placed it. So yeah, that's why I wasn't too shocked by it. Where it's for the same reasons as you.
My 7 is Dancing Shoes. Again, we're going.
It might be the top 5 where we differ really. The reason why I Still Take You Home pips from the Ritz the Rubble for me is I just think that riff is really, it's such a powerhouse of a song. And that I really love the solo and its kind of funkiness, and I really love a lot of the lyrics in there. And Top Shot Princess Rockstar 2 was such a nailed on thing at the time that it just picked me for the riff. It's just got this kind of Queens of the Stone Age-esque almost quality to it. So it just picked Ritz for me, and it's just the riff of the vibe of it really. So Dancing Shoes you have there, do you?
Number 7, yeah. Number 7 for Dancing Shoes. Again, I think it is the top 5 is going to be where there's going to be some difference between ours, I think.
Perhaps. We think, but yeah. I mean, I'm assuming we might both have the same number 1, but yeah. I think we already kind of come into it thinking that we might both have the number 1, but I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'd be shocked. So what's your number 6?
So my number 6, When the Sun Goes Down. So only a little bit higher than you've got it.
Yeah. So you had it there for so not much more. My number 6 is Dancing Shoes. So again, we're kind of going in between the same places. I think the variations might be, like you say, in the next 5, but yeah, we're still there or thereabouts. It's just that you've put Dance Floor in a certain position, and I've put I've obviously put Ritz in a position that in a lower place than you is really where the strip is. But yeah, Dancing Shoes, When the Sun Goes Down, Still Take You Home, sort of all, which I suppose is an odd thing to say because When the Sun Goes Down is so much more of a bigger tune than those two, but it doesn't float it as much for me as they do, but obviously it only floats it slightly more for you. Obviously, it's not in your top 5. But look at the top 5. I mean, our top 5 has one big discrepancy in it, but between us, but top 5. I would imagine the only difference most people would have with our top 5 is that they might have When the Sun Goes Down in there, or they might have Dance Floor in there. We've obviously, so we've obviously just took them out, which is interesting because they're the 2 singles. So I don't know if there's an element of us overhearing them or just being so familiar with them. But they've not captured us because we remember them quite well, but we've recaptured the other tracks by listening to them and talking about them. Perhaps, I don't know, but yeah, because the When the Sun Goes Down episode was good, but I wouldn't say it makes me want to listen to the song anymore. Whereas some of the episodes have made me want to listen to the songs more.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
I mean, I love When the Sun Goes Down when it comes out. I'll sing along to it if they play it live, but yeah, they're all it's interesting. We've only had a couple of differences there, so let's see where we fall in the top 5. So my number 5, this one's interesting because you might have it. Let's see. So my number 5 Arctic Monkeys, whether people say that's on that track, is Mardy Bum.
Same.
Oh wow, really? Oh bloody hell! We're going to with the same list there, aren't we? I mean, I just think, look, the 5 I've got, one of them will be different than most people have. Yours, I think, is obviously you've got Ritz in there and I haven't. So when I rating them as a top 5, I just think it just, for as much as Mardy Bum is an absolute tune and is amazing, there was a point when I was going to have it lower, and you know what made it come higher? Funnily enough, and I don't know if I should have let this affect it or not, but the 2013
Some of it.
Glastonbury performance made it go higher, because that's the one I forgot when I was doing the list. I was 12 and I was like, what's missing? I was like, fucking hell, Mardy Bum. And I was like, oh yeah, I was going to put it like after When the Sun Goes Down or something, like 10th. And then I was like, no, that performance was magical, and that song's magical.
Well, that just goes to show that, like, a lot of people say, I see people saying online that that's the definitive version of Mardy Bum. I think we've said it a million times as well. That's the best version of Mardy Bum ever. So you almost don't think of it as being from this album, because they turned it into a thing that was like the epitome of the AM era almost.
Yeah, that's true. That might be why, but it can. Yeah, I don't think it would have been as high if it wasn't for that. I think I would have dropped it a bit, even though it's a song that means so much and says so much, and is. I think I said it might be like it might even be their best melodic tune they've done. I think I said at the time, which I don't know. I'll probably backtrack on that many times after this, but in fact, I think I've said that about something else already. I think I said it about buses. No, I didn't say about buses. But anyway, I think I've backtracked on that already. But yeah, I think fifth is where it belongs. Kind of halfway. I don't know. Some people would probably have it at 1 or 2. Or I think most people will have the same one as us. But I think some people would have Mardy Bum at 2, so might make their top 3. But yeah. So what's your? So we're in the top 4.
Number 4 for me is Fake Tales, open brackets, of San Francisco, close brackets. Imagine they'd done that. Imagine. In fact, that's the point. Have they ever done a song with brackets in the title? I don't think they have they? It's good, pretentious. Unless you tell me that they have done one, in which case I'd be like, fair play, lads.
I'm trying to think if they have a B-side, but I can't. Well, anything's fine with B-side. You can do different stuff with a B-side, but I can't think of any songs with brackets in the titles now. My number 4 is Fake Tales of San Francisco. So yeah, we're pretty much on the same page here, and it's because it's one of the things I was thinking of when I was doing it was what do I think of when I think of the album? What are my first thoughts? If you say whatever people say on this one, what do I think of? And Fake Tales is one of them straight in my head straight away. So and it's just, I think it's got some of the funniest and wittiest lyrics he's written. It's very peak snariness. The drums are amazing. The bit when it changes is amazing. It's this kind of hip hoppy funk riff, which we hadn't really heard much like that before from a band, particularly this type of band. So yeah, it was. I mean, I think it's a weird one where I think they were right not to release it as a single, but I do think it's better than the songs that they released as a single, massively. But I don't think it would have done as well as Dance Floor did in the charts, if that makes sense. I don't think it was as much of a song that everyone would listen to and go, "Oh, that's amazing." So whereas Dance Floor kind of hit all demographics, I think, for the most part. But yeah, I was torn between it being higher, really, but I have my reasons for the others. So why have you put it there?
One of my favourite tracks on there, like you said, something we weren't really hearing at that time. It was even in the context of the album as well. I think it's quite different in terms of the riff. It doesn't quite go really heavy until the end. And then if you look at the stuff that influenced them, the likes of the Strokes and the Libertines, and the sort of R&B and rap stuff as well that they were listening to, it's really, a lot of it's at odds with all that. So I think that's what puts it up there for me.
Yeah, and it's got a little bit of scar at the end and that, and it's experimental in a way as well, to go from that riff to the heavy bit and then to have that end. It's all kind of it's one of those.
And some of his best lyrics as well. The best lyrics from this era. Some of them are on there.
Absolutely,
I think. Peak Alex snarkiness that we've mentioned as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It had to be in the top 5. Absolutely. Yeah. So my number 3. So the top 3. It's not as mad as I thought this list would be. I thought we'd be way different in certain aspects, and we've barely been different at all. So slightly anticlimactic. We didn't get to have any arguments, but maybe that's just one of those things. But yeah, so my third favorite is The View from the Afternoon.
Okay.
But so because I just think the drums in this song are absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's a ferocious song, and I think it's the perfect album opener. Not the best ever, but the perfect album opener. And it's and the drums that I just can't get over that the mad calm of it. And for someone that had been playing for a couple of years, there wasn't even like the next stage of Held as yet. It's just a phenomenal. And I could this is the song. If I'm going to listen to a song off this album the most, that I'm just going to crack on. It's usually The View from the Afternoon. Because it's just, I think it's an incredible tune.
Yeah, I've gone for Ritz for number 3. So obviously you've had it lower, but no particular reason. It's just one of the. I think it stems from if I'm in a situation where I've got like a bus ride or something, I've got time for like 2 or 3 songs. A lot of the time, I'll still put on that run of 3 tracks, like When the Sun Goes Down, Ritz, Certain Romance.
Yeah.
So Ritz kind of holds a special place because of that, I think.
Yeah, I think with Ritz, I could reevaluate it and probably have it higher, but it just felt right when I was doing the list. And I do like a lot of it, and I really like some of the lyrics in Ritz as well. But it's maybe Ritz could have been higher in hindsight. Maybe it could have been like.
I do find it
wouldn't have got into my top 5 though, regardless. But I think it could have been 5. Maybe it could have been ahead of Mardy Bum and the rest. But but it felt right at the time.
I find it very heartbreaking that most of the time these days they choose either Ritz or View from the Afternoon to play live. I think the exception of the Royal Albert Hall gig that they released when they played both, and even that was
7 albums, man.
Threatened with his life during the intermission with regards to playing this next number. So.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's
7 albums though, isn't it? And that you want to play some of the new stuff, and the balance is so hard to get right.
Although having looked at the recent set list, I wouldn't mind a bit more Suck It and See, lads.
Yeah, that's the one that disappoints me the most. But it probably doesn't vibe as well in the set. Like when you're putting it together, you got to look at balance of set. You got to get the set right. And
so if they bring some Humbug back, I'll take it. If we get some Humbug deep cut.
Well, that's why Glastonbury set is interesting, particularly like after the last Glastonbury set. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
That set will literally be unpredictable because the Glastonbury sets are always very different to every other set, and we know that they've said in interviews before that what they learned from the first one was that it's Glastonbury special, and you play the hits, you play the songs people want to hear, and they've had AM since the last Glastonbury, and they've had
blows my mind still.
Yeah, because they play Do What I Know and How You Mind. The fact that after, so they're obviously going to play like probably Arabella and all those. They're going to play a lot of AM because people will want to hear it, and they'll probably place. I imagine Tranquility, The Car, and Suck It and See will suffer in the Glastonbury set if I was guessing.
Yeah.
On the first album, maybe not. Maybe I'm being unfair there. Maybe they'll squeeze us nothing. But it'll be an interesting set because they can't just pull out. What are they going to do that's special? Not to. I mean, we'll have a podcast on the Glastonbury probably. But what are they going to pull out that's special? Because they've done the Mardy Bum acoustic, they've done the Cornerstone acoustic. What are they going to do to make it that little bit more special for Glastonbury? What have they got in store for us? And it's going to be a very interesting night, and we will be live streaming it from my flat. Absolutely. So I'm very excited. We've got the gig, and then we got that a few weeks later. So it's all, and your birthday, so it's all going to be very exciting June.
It's going to be June, yeah.
But without further ado, I think we know potentially I'll be shocked if I'm wrong about what your number 2 is and what your number 1 is, if it's the other way around. But
okay.
Your number 2 is, of course,
The View from the Afternoon. For all the same reasons you had it high up as well. Yeah.
Do you know what as well I didn't say about The View from the Afternoon is that, as you know, I always say I don't consider, when people think I like indie, and I go, I don't really like that much indie music. And Dance Floor is indie, but I don't consider Arctic Monkeys an indie band. They just were around at that time. The View from the Afternoon as an album opener, it kind of sets that. It's not an indie song. I've never heard an indie song like View from the Afternoon. It's a rock song. It's very much a rock song. So that was kind of sets that marker down, I'd say, pretty early on. But we're okay. So I think that's a good number 2. My number 2, it probably would have been number 2 View from the Afternoon for me. But my number 2 is Riot Van.
I knew this would be high up, yeah.
Because you remember the episode, I had a remembrance of how much I loved that track when it was out.
Yeah.
It made me very emotional. It's got this kind of quality to it. I think you can hear Alex's and there's a sort of sweetness to his lyrics, and there's a youthfulness there, and it kind of makes you remember about those nights as a kid and stuff. And I think it's got the potential to be the only song or the most song on it that gives us a glimpse of the future as well. For me, I just had the reason it's number 2 is not that I think it's better than the View from the Afternoon or Thick Tales or Marley Bum or any of the others. I understand why it's where you put it on your list and why it's where it's on my list. Is purely emotional, personal reasons why I have it at number 2.
I had a feeling you would. When I was putting this list together, I made a little mental note to myself that I thought you'd have Riot Van like top 5 at the very least. I thought.
Well, funnily enough, when I was putting this together, the only things that I said, I text you, I didn't specify, but I said one on mine will be higher than it is on yours, and one on mine or yours will be higher than it is on mine. And what I was thinking was, I knew I'd have Riot Van higher than you do, and I knew that you'd have Ritz way higher than I did. So yeah. But I do. I mean, Ritz has kind of replaced Riot Van in our list. I suppose we've done it the other way around, haven't we? Because Riot Van was like 8th on yours, 9th, something like 10th, was it? Maybe I should have had. But I think maybe Ritz could have been higher than Still Take You Home and Dancing Shoes in hindsight. But I still just think if I'm going to crack a song on, it's probably going to be Still Take You Home over Ritz. On Dancing, I love Dancing Shoes. I love just cracking it on. It's such a fun song to put on. So yeah. That will mean then that we've both gone for. I think what was already it was a foregone conclusion, to quote David Brent's band. Would be A Certain Romance that we've both put at number 1. I mean, you all heard the episode. It gets put under the best song in most lists. You guys voted it as a number 1 in our World Cup of Arctic Monkey songs back before Christmas. It is just a lot of people still think it's the best Arctic Monkey song ever, and I think. Although I disagree with that, I think someone could put a very good argument up for that being the case, and I could potentially be convinced at some point of that argument if it was well put together. So I just listened to it again. Again, emotional, that solo, and magical song, absolutely magical song. And if you hear that live, if they do that at Glastonbury, or they do that when we see them, hearing those drums,
don't do it to me.
That would be the most magical thing that they could do.
I'm not emotionally ready for that.
Even if we're at home at Glastonbury, suddenly the drums of Certain Romance start at the end of the set or whatever, which I think that's a possibility. If they're going through their albums and going, what we're going to do special this time, surely A Certain Romance would come out of the go, oh yeah, that would be special if we did A Certain Romance, wouldn't it? So I just think, yeah, it's the best song on the album. There's no question about it. No one could say there's a better song on this album. You know, whatever you think of our list, I don't think you could defend the fact that Certain Romance is not the best song on the album. Yeah.
When I started writing the list, I worked backwards from that. I worked backwards from Certain Romance. I knew that was number 1 straight away. As soon as we came up with this concept, I knew that was number 1. It was just working out the rest around it.
There's a chance. Yeah, so did I. I knew that was number 1. I knew that like you probably have Vampires was going to be the 2 at the end, and then I just had to work the middle. But I don't think like I think you could put A Certain Romance on any of the albums, and it would potential to be the best song on the album. Obviously, it wouldn't fit, but like it's just it could be the best song. It could be. That's the thing. I don't think it is my favorite personally, but it could be the best song. So there you go. We were pretty similar. I'm shocked. I thought there'd be more variances there. It's really just a couple of things.
I'll never disagree with you about Arctic Monkeys until the next episode.
The only shock is where you put Dance Floor for me, and perhaps it's not a shock for you where I put Riot Van, but for people listening, it might be. It's not that I think you're wrong about where Dance Floor is. It's that I'm shocked that you put Dance Floor there. That's what I'm more shocked at, you personally, but yeah.
I'm quite shocked as well.
I never would have guessed that. I never would have in a million years guessed that would have been that low down. I thought Dance Floor was going to be in your top 5. I think it's because I see you as a bit of a music historian, and I thought it would, yeah, managed to make us both sound like cunts in one sentence then. That's a skill. Oh God. But I thought because of its importance to the scene that you would have put it higher, is what I mean by that. So I thought that would have trumped your placement of it. So yeah, interesting.
You thought so, wouldn't you? But you know what Thought did, didn't you? Oh,
no,
I'm rethinking.
Thought killed the cat. What was?
I don't know. Have you ever heard that phrase?
What I was saying was, I don't know. What
Did
phrase?
Say that to you?
What?
Like, my mum used to say when I was
I didn't hear a phrase.
Like, you know what Thought did.
Oh right.
Yeah, if I'd done something wrong, I said, well, I thought this, I thought that. And mum was like, well, you know what Thought did, don't you? Like, no, I don't.
Explains a lot.
Tell me.
That explains a lot about why those generations have absolutely fucked everything for us, doesn't it? Should we go? Do you want to do our live set, or do you want to do the B-sides next?
Well, I think we've got time for a little speech, and then
you want to do a speech? Okay. Yeah.
And then we'll get onto the B-sides. I think after that. Q Awards 2006 and some classic Alex snark, shall we?
A lot of people make jokes about they're having like awards for no reason and that, just for the sake of having awards for people and that, just to a lot of like pretending they were good when they weren't, sort of thing. Like, I mean, I might be glad of it one day, but like at least now, like I'm not old enough to know like a lot of them and stuff, but even I know that Take That were bollocks, man.
No.
Not having that. But thanks for this one anyway. Thanks for this one.
Wrong.
Means a lot to us, this album, so nice. Sound.
Thank you. Go on. Get off. Down in Callaghan. Hey?
Who would have thought Jonathan Ross would take exception to people going off script and saying bad things about people?
Well, the thing is that he doesn't do that. He's pretending to do that because you can hear him laugh several times. Especially he gets his biggest laugh when they actually say they take that, but he laughs inadvertently out loud. Yeah, I mean, he was good friends. Do you remember when it was before the Brand Ross gate? Obviously, when he had his Radio 2 show. I think it's for Last Shadow Puppets. I think Alex and Miles are on his show doing acoustic.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where they're doing a cover of the Lovers. I think it is that song. And they pause in between, and they're about to go into the next verse, and Jonathan starts speaking, and they're like, "Whoa, we're not done, Jonathan." And Alex goes, "Get yourself, Jonathan. Calm down." Like, there was a time when I think Jonathan Ross really liked them, didn't he? Because they were on his show a lot. And in those early days, before he got, they were on his show for the car, weren't they? Actually, so
yes, to her, yeah. Is
never done Graham Norton? I just wonder about that. Never done Graham Norton.
Oh no, I think they have. I think they might have done.
Because Alex would have to go on the couch, wouldn't he, and have a little chat afterwards. We would have seen it. They all singing.
Not always. I think they've
always. I've never seen them on Graham Norton. I'm pretty sure I've never seen them on Graham Norton. Not saying that they don't like him or, not making any comments, not saying they're homophobic or anything, Christ. I really like Graham Norton, and I'm always surprised that they're not on there when they're about. Or maybe they will be maybe they'll do sculptures.
Well, here we go.
In the coming months.
They did Suck It and See live on the Graham Norton show in 2011.
Did they? God, my favourite song as well. I will have to check that out then. I've completely forgot. I mean, it was 12 years ago.
I bet Graham Norton made a pun about it. I bet you now that at the start.
Oh, Suck It and See. Woo!
On the new album, Suck It and See. Oh, it's a big stiff cock of a song.
It's quite funny when you do it, but yeah, yeah, I wouldn't. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that, so I will be checking that out after this. Yeah, maybe they'll do sculptures on there when they tour, when they're back in England touring, because they're going to do it somewhere. Although they'll probably do live. I'm hoping they'll do Live Lounge, and we'll get them one of their. We haven't had one of their incredible covers, because I really wanted them to do one of their incredible covers that they always do. They've never done a bad cover, in my opinion. The worst cover, funnily enough, I think they've ever done for me is Take It or Leave It by the Strokes, and that's not because it's bad. It's because it just sounds like the original, and I think that's because there's not much more you can do with it. It just sounds like Alex singing it instead of Julius Casablancas. But
the best band out there making songs their own when they do covers.
Oh yeah, I mean I still think that I still listen regularly to the Drake cover. Yeah, it's amazing. It just sounded like a song on AM. If that had been on AM, no one would have batted an eyelid. But I wanted to hear one during Tranquility them take a pop song and do it in that style. That would have been really interesting, but they didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd love them to do a kind of car-esque version of a pop song that's out at the minute. I always wanted to hear them do but they were past it really at that point. But I guess in the AM style, it would have, Billie Eilish.
Yes, that would have fit.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear an Arctic Monkeys version of that.
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, but I am like 99.9% convinced that they're going to do an Elton John cover at Glastonbury.
Thank you. Yeah,
but did they do one at Glasgow 13 though, a cover of the other acts? They didn't, did they? They only did that in 2007, so maybe not. But yeah,
but I mean, 2007, they basically played pretty much every song they had, didn't they? Because it was very early in the career, so they did a bit of something.
Oh my God, I just blew my own mind. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just blew my own mind then. I just thought, imagine if they got Elton out to do like 4 out of 5 on the piano or something with them, or something like that.
I'll stop you there because I don't think they're nearly strung out on drugs enough for Elton John to collaborate with them. That's his thing. We all remember.
I don't know, Jamie's looking a bit slim and haggard. Maybe they could just pretend he's on heroin.
Oh, I'm Jamie Cook. I'm dying of heroin in a puddle in the 80s.
I just had that thought. Imagine if Elton came out and did a song with them, because they're at this for Glastonbury. They could get an artist out to do a song with them. I don't know who it would be, but Elton's there. They've got a lot of piano tunes now. I don't know if he's a fan. I don't know if there's a vibe between them. I don't know if he even listens to that. You know what I mean? But oh man, imagine that'd be my
pretty clued up.
Best day ever.
Music, so mind you, if he'd have mentioned it, because he never shuts the fuck up about
coming out and doing like mirror ball piano and singing it with Alex or something like that. Oof.
Can you stop saying "Imagine Elton John coming out"? Because every time I'm like, mate, I've got news for you. I'm not singing it.
I'm coming in. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. No, that clip's great because I think I saw an interview with Take That once where they were asked about it not long after, and they said like, oh yeah, it's just boys will be boys type, type scenario. Where it's but no, he is right. But again, not to be taken as him being a prick because he says before it, maybe I'll be grateful for it one day. What he's saying is, the way that we now say that Take That were good. Maybe he'll be grateful for that one day. That Arctic Monkeys will then be regarded as better. He doesn't need it in the end, but I'm just, there was a caveat there that made him not as much of a prick. But it's a funny guy because we all do know, even though I don't mind some of Take That songs, we do all know that, they're basically shit. And Gary Barlow's a twat. So, I'm going to be the villain on this now. Fuck off. But sure, so you wanted to do the B-sides next, did you? So there's 9.
Yes, no. Quick question. 1, 2, 3...
9.
4, 5, 6. Yes, I've got 9 as well. Excellent. That's good.
Well, that's because there's 9 B-sides.
I know.
Yes, we both have 9.
Really yeah. Okay. So
yeah, but I did have to count them when I was doing the list. So I was like, I don't want to miss one.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So number 9 for you, your least favorite B-side.
Chun-Li spinning bird kick.
Ooh, sticking to the floor for me. I just don't think sticking to the floor is very good. No, it's all right. It is what it is.
Chun-Li last because there's no lyrics to go at, so it automatically puts as cool as it is.
Chun-Li's pipped got higher because of it. I really like its vibe, and it's just one of those like cool instrumentals that I like listening to. So yeah, but sticking to the floor, I just don't think there's enough in it. It's not long enough. The riff's all right. He's singing in it. He's not singing like Alex. He's singing like Boardwalk Alex, early Boardwalk Alex. Yeah. So it's a 9 for me. So what? My number 8 though is Chun-Li. So it only slightly different between the two.
My number 8 is sticking to the floor. So
yeah. So there you go. Yeah, I figured we'd be about the same there because they're interchangeable. You've done it because there's no lyrics. I've done it just because I just think it's a good riff. So there you go. My number 7. Your number 7 is
7.
So's mine. Yeah, I mean, they're just, even though we had a really good chat about 7 in the end, and the lyrics were actually like that was the first time. If you remember, my hot take was that this is the early Alex lyrics that we were seeing. Unfortunately, the rest of these B-sides are just miles better. And you know, we're throwing in the EP, which isn't strictly B-sides, so they're obviously going to be better. But yeah, I don't think. But that doesn't mean that I've got them at the highest point. So, but I would, yeah, it's a number 7 for me, just because it's not as good as the rest above it, but it's better than the 2 before. That's quite simply where it is. There's nowhere else to put it. Plus
elimination.
Synergy with it being 7 and 7 as well. Number 6. My number 6 is Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys? Now, I know we raved about it only a week ago, but on balance, 5 and 6 were difficult to get the way around because my top 4 is solid. There's no moving on the top 4. I already knew what that was going to be, pretty much. No, actually, my top 2 was solid. 3 and 4 were also interchangeable, but they were always going to be above 5 and 6. So I just had to pick. And I think on balance, Who the Fuck is like really good lyrics. The most mature lyrics in terms of being able to dissect them we had so far. And I really like the riff, and it's experimental and it's cool, but I just don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy some of the other B-sides we've covered, basically. That's my reason for it being there. So I rarely listen to it, if I'm being completely honest. I very rarely listen to it. As much as I like it, it's not one I'll crack on out of these B-sides, probably.
Okay. I've gone for Cigarette Smoker Fiona from the same EP.
Yep.
Next, yeah, just don't tend to listen to it as much. Like it, but don't like it. I don't think it's as good lyrically as the stuff that I've got above it. Yeah, that's literally it. Just don't listen to it as much. I don't think it's as good lyrically as the stuff that I've got above it. What can you do?
I would agree, because my 5th one is Cigarette Smoker Fiona, so I knew that they were going to be there, and I just didn't know which way around it was going to be. And on balance, there's something cool about Cigarette Smoker Fiona that I enjoy listening to more than Who the Fuck. There's just something about the riff that I enjoy listening to. But EP only, I fucking hated and detested the demo lyrics when we listened to it, as you know. But I just like listening to that song. It's not as better than the ones above it by any stretch, but I love listening to that riff. I love hearing it. So yeah, what's your number 5?
Number 5, Settle for a Draw.
Oh really? That is a shot. I'm not gonna lie, it's a shot. Really.
Do you think? Yeah, I think I definitely wouldn't put it any lower. It was tough, this top 5. I pretty much had my top 5 nailed down for the album, but this was a tricky one. And yeah,
see, not so much for me. I had apart from a few differences, my top 2, like I say, were done, and then it was just 3, 4, 5, 6. I knew 3 and 4 were going to be where they were, but that's interesting that you've put Settle for a Draw 5th. Yeah, I guess maybe you just we differ on it. Let's just say that, because where I've put Settle for a Draw. Yeah, but I don't know where you've put Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys yet. So it could be very interesting. Unless we differed more than we have on the album parts. Yeah. But my number 4 is No Buses, because I've got a top 4, and out of them, I think it's a really good song. I think it's melodic and lovely, and I think it's clever in the lyrics, really clever with what he does. But I just don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy the other 3. And I have reasons for picking the other 3. And it's definitely one of the best B-sides we've done. Absolutely. But I just don't think it's better than the ones above it for me.
My 4th is Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys.
Okay. So you just rate it a little bit higher than me, then, I guess. You put it in that kind of top 5
only
bracket.
Just. Yeah.
I mean, it is lyrically very good, Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys, and it is experimental and stuff. But I just rarely ever. I'm not ever in the mood to listen to it, and I think it's just because I just don't enjoy it as much. I don't know. But I remember at the time like being pretty blown away by it. But yeah, just is what it is. Oh, so we're in the top 3.
Top 3 now.
It's interesting here because we know there's going to be some differences here, quite a lot. So what's your? I think I kind of know what your 1 might be, but. Okay. But go on, what's your number 3?
Number 3 is No Buses.
Oh, okay, so you just rate it slightly higher as me in terms of where that is. Yeah, I think that's not a bad. I wouldn't disagree. Like, I don't think it. I think we're on pretty much the same page with it. But I've got The Spare in the Departure Lounge at number 3. Great tune, one of my favorites to listen to. When I first heard it, and I'd listened to it desperately on repeat because I just thought it was amazing. But it's just not as complete as the ones I put forward. I don't enjoy it as much as the them two, but it is an incredible. I mean, this top three that I've got are all really good tunes, but I just think it's and I think this song for you means something like the way that Riot. You know how Riot Van got higher for me because it personal reason. I think the Spur might have done that for you as well, but yeah, I think it's, and I love listening to it, and it was one of my favorites to revisit actually. So that's why it's in the top three, because it's still a great little tune there. But the top two, here we go. I think I know what your number one's going to be, and I should know what your number. Yeah, in fact, I know what your 2 and 1 is actually. By process of elimination, I guess I figured it out. But my number 2 is Settle for a Draw. So obviously, quite drastically higher than where you put it. I think it's a really mature song for them at the time, lyrically and musically. I think it's got this really cool sound to it, and it was unlike any other stuff they'd done at the time. And it was, I think lyrically, you get so much spot on about relationships and stuff like that. And I think it's really, I just think it's one of the standouts in terms of lyrics and music at this point.
It was so tough for me to put Settle for a Draw down at number 5. I've listened to these on repeat like for the past week and a half. These tracks to try and rank them, and normally Settle for a Draw it would be even higher than 5th for me, but it's just the others have beaten it for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your number 2?
So my number 2 is Despair in the Departure Lounge.
Oh, I'm shocked. I was for sure that was going to be your number 1.
I know. I wish I'd asked you what you think my number 2 will be, but no. Number 2 is Despair in the Departure Lounge for me. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be your number 1. Because of personal reasons.
I know you did. Yeah.
I was so sure it would be. I didn't think it was coming into it that it would be number 1. I wasn't sure what your number 1 would be, but I thought your number 1 might be Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys actually coming into it. If I'm being honest,
I did. I did
when we got to around 5, I thought, oh, this is going to be Despair at number 1. Yeah, I mean it is a great tune. I mean I've only got it at number 3, so obviously we're pretty much there at the same page with it. So that means that we both got the same number 1, right?
Yeah, Bigger Boys and Sweethearts.
Yep. I just think it's the best B-side of this era. Not because it's the most accomplished musically. I think it's the best lyrics. It's the funniest lyrics. I think it was one of the pods we did for it was like really fun because it's got all these very witty. It's got some of my favorite Alex lines in it. Like even now, like some of those turns of phrase and just picked her up from the school gates at 3:20. Just all those kind of bet she goes around in her school stuff. About that's what he likes. Has always been a standout one. But yeah, I think the best. I think it's she's not nice. She's pretty fucking far from nice. She's looking at me funny, rarely looking at me twice. Is just such an amazing line. I think I just love listening to it now. Even when I wasn't listening to whatever people say or anything, I would still sometimes crack on Bigger Boys just because it's one of them that I'll make people listen to as well because I know they haven't heard it when I'm drunk and I'll be like, no, listen to this, and I'll be going, oh, listen to this lyric, it's great, and everyone's going, shut the fuck up, Dan. I'm going, no. But yeah, it's one of them. It's in that category where I always remember the lyrics of it as being up there. So yeah, it just is the best B-side, I think.
Worthy choice. Yeah, can't argue with that. Yeah, I had a feeling we'd both have that as number 1.
I didn't think you would in a million. I thought you were going to go, who the fuck, No Buses or Despair in number 1. I did not think you were going to go for Bigger Boys.
Subverting expectations, me, man.
Yeah, always, as always. So should we move into the live set? So for this one, I don't think there's much point in us going through them like track by track, but I think, or do you think, no, I think it's best if I just say mine and why, and then you say yours, why you've structured it that way. So my perfect live version of this.
So just to clear it up, this was if they were doing one of these album anniversary tours that the bands from that era seem to fucking love doing now. This is how if they weren't playing it in album order, this is the order you'd want it in, isn't it?
Yeah, Yeah, you could just say this is how I'd want to hear it. You don't have to put the backstory in, but if you want it there, it's there. Yeah, you're right. The hypothetical is there.
I'm just clearing it up for the
If they
listeners.
did, sorry. Yeah, good point. Forgot about them. Sometimes
I do every week.
I forget. It's just us chatting sometimes. I go, oh yeah. Good point. Yeah. So it's like if they were doing one of them, but they didn't do it in order, like every band seems to. It basically, if Arctic Monkeys after Favourite Worst Nightmare had gone on to be shit like every other band from that era and not done anything else, and they had to now do a 20th anniversary tour and trudge it out and tour
the
it.
enemy.
Not everyone else. Then yes, this would be that. But they decide not to do it in the order of the album, because I will say they're doing it. I thought it would be pretty much the same as the album, because I thought the album order is pretty good as a live set in terms of rundown, but it actually differed quite a lot. So which surprised me. So I would open with The View from the Afternoon, because for me, there's no better way to start a gig at this point than The View from the Afternoon. You got those drums. Best way to start an album, best way to start a gig. It would be start as you mean to go on. It's ferocious. Then I would move into Still Take You Home. So my kind of, when I was piecing it together, I was like, you got that last note, the drums, and the clean note of View from the Afternoon, and then it's just down, and you're just carrying on that speed, just carrying on that vibe. The crowd's amped as fuck. Then Still Take You Home ends, and he goes, "Get on your dancing shoes." So then the crowd are like, "Yep, it's all happening." It's not as ferocious, but you're having a bit of a dance. It's a bit more of a thing. And then as they're kind of fast, like ding 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 ding. Last night these two bouncers, and one of them's all right, the other one's scary. And this way I know later, like I just felt that kind of vibe, and then that kind of picks up, and it's got the fast end obviously, and then it's like. Doom, 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 doom. So not as fast.
Like this better than mine.
You just keep in the fun going. You don't know how much time I spent on this. It was ridiculous. The rest of it was relatively easy. I was listening on Spotify, going to the end of the track, going last 10 seconds. Does it work going into this? No, it doesn't work going into that. Like, yeah, spent more time than the band does on the set list probably this week. But yeah, ding, 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 and then it goes fast, obviously, and then it's. So because I feel like the kind of fast but also funkiness of Fake Tales then lends itself to going into Red Light, which is a difficult one to place where you put Red Light, but I feel like that was where it worked for me. And then sort of the Red Light end, after Junket, round, are you sure? The red light showing red light indicates doors are secure. Few seconds. So you've got that kind of, you're in the melodic, you're not going too fast, you're keeping up the beat there. And then Mardy Bum, who's that girl there? I went wrong so that she had some strings. Just because I think that sort of slow melodic end dips a bit for Mardy Bum, so then you come in when the sun goes down and keep that vibe going, that slow sing-along, because Mardy Bum's a sing-along, so then you go to another sing-along, and then obviously that goes fast. And then when the sun goes down is obviously, don't you know? Ding, ding, ding. Just bring it right back up from the end of when the sun goes down with Dance Floor. And then Dance Floor obviously ends. Dance Floor end. I can't remember that. Oh, Dance Floor ends down.
From 1984.
So you probably comes in just to keep it fast for the end, and then you probably so you probably ends. You get very fast, obviously very rapid after Dance Floor as well. Keep that vibe going, and then as it ends, straight into Vampires, because you got that kind of, you're kind of bringing it down, but then it goes back fast again, and it's funky. You got the whole experimental section of Vampires where they can kind of vibe out a bit, and then when it goes heavy again, you go down, and then this is more emotional for me, I guess, is is the start of Riot Van would come in after Vampires. So just go to a sing along after Vampires. You've funked out for a bit, you've gone experimental, and then do a kind of sing along. So perhaps Alex just has a mic, Jamie's just dealing with this. He just goes to a little sing along, and then as Riot Van ends, good night everyone. It's got to be Certain Romance. How could you not end it with Certain Romance? So, and then the whole Certain Romance solo, and good night Vienna. That's what I'd do.
See, I don't. There's no point even doing mine now because I don't ever want to go and see the band ever again now.
I think I've taken people through a journey that they don't need to ever see them now.
You've taken me on one, man. Oh God!
I'd like to think someone was masturbating along to that. To be honest.
Oh God! You have to.
You were edging. I ruined it. I know you were edging every time I went into the next track. I know I did ruin that. I did really well there, and then I had to ruin it at the end by bringing up masturbation again.
Bring it into the masturbatorium.
Yeah, so every girlfriend I've ever had said to me, ruin it again by bringing up masturbation.
Every time,
every time.
Oh,
but yeah, no, go on. You put effort into it. Let's hear it.
Right, so I've gone track 1, View from the Afternoon.
Yeah,
obviously.
Correct answer. That's the correct answer.
Yes, this is the one where it's not down to personal preference. There is just a correct answer. That's right.
Yeah,
and that's what I'd want, and it's absolutely spot on. Second, I've gone Dancing Shoes.
Okay, yeah, I think that works. Yeah, because you get
yeah. 3,
easily, yeah.
Fake Tales.
Yeah, after Dancing Shoes works.
After Dancing Shoes, Fake Tales into Still Take You Home.
Yeah. They could easily connect, couldn't they? I think if I was doing Fake Tales live, I'd get rid of the end bit and just go into Still Take You Home instead of the just kind of somehow transition into it, perhaps. Alex,
remember when you used to go straight from Fake Tales into Balaclava? Remember them days?
Oh God, do I remember those days? We're probably talking about it in a few months.
I can't wait. So after Still Take You Home, I'm going into Red Light Indicates Doors Are Secured, possibly controversially. And then.
No, I don't think so. I think that's good. Yeah.
After that point, you've probably got a lady on your arm, king size Mars bar in the pocket. We're going to take it right down, mate, with the erection section. We're going to give
say
a
I
riot
lowered
van.
the tone.
We're going to give a riot van. We're going to give
know
a
what?
Mardy bum.
You're so lucky that I did the masturbation bit because mine was so intrinsic and heartfelt, my set, that if then you'd had to done yours and gone, this is the erection part of the set. If I hadn't have already lowered the tone, you'd be in a right mess right now. So you should be thanking me. That's what I'm here for. I preset the table of lowering the tone for you. So,
God. Right, yeah. So
we go on the erection section.
Yeah, so that's riot van into Mardy bum.
Definitely gets me going.
And then we're taking it back up again. We're going. You probably could see for the lights. Followed by Vampires, have a good old wig out, go mental, then dance floor, bang, good night, off the stage, they're off.
Oh, you're encoring it? I didn't even encore it, no.
I'm encoring it, mate. Going off the dance floor after their breakthrough hit that I put as my 12th favourite song of the album. And then good old 5 minutes of singing Yorkshire, and one more song.
I used to worry that the band thought they were singing your shit when I was at gigs. I used to be like, don't sing that because people think you're saying the shit, ruin their confidence.
We want them to do more. First the horrors and now this.
Yeah, exactly.
So then,
I don't think we ever took part in those antics, did we?
No. I was a fan of the horrors, so it wasn't me. Right, encore. I'm going When the Sun Goes Down. I'm going Ritz, and I'm going Certain Romance. That 3 as they are on the album.
That's a solid encore, isn't it? To be fair, yeah, that's a very good encore. I suppose if I was to encore mine, I guess they'd go off after Vampires and then come on and do a Riot Band and Certain Romance, wouldn't they? So maybe Alex would come on and do a Riot Band in his own acoustic set, crowd sing along, and then the rest of the band comes on.
If that's an option, I'll have that. At the start of my encore.
So yeah, 2 solid sets there, I'd say. But yeah, there you go. Send us yours if you want them. So should we do our favourite lyric from the album?
Oh yeah, I completely forgot we were doing this. But well, what we'll do, well, I have a think. Well, I have a quick think. We'll let's play the clip of the band's acceptance for the Brit Award 2006, the Best Breakthrough Act. Spoiler alert: they weren't there.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Best British Breakthrough Act. Super News! Arctic Monkeys!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's true tremendous honor. Between me, you, and the gatepost, we're almost in tears over this honor. He's little guy. I've never seen him like this. We're awash with emotion. We're aghast. We're practically discombobulated over this honor. Thank you to the Radio 1 listeners. You've been listening well.
I love it when the band delegate the sarcasm.
Yeah, especially to We Are Scientists as well. So they were obviously on the Enemy tour together during this, weren't they? Which is why they were there. Yeah, they're really funny live, which is not what you should be saying about a band, which perhaps is why they haven't been successful. But in between songs, they're actually quite funny. Him and the bass player.
Well, then again, Bill Bailey. You see Bill Bailey live, and he's great musically, so it balances out.
No, yeah, true.
Did you not think that Keith Murray had a very Ryan Reynolds quality about him?
Yeah. Yeah, now he's got kind of like a grey streak in his hair as well, so he's rocking that vibe. He's quite ageless actually. He hasn't aged much in the 20-odd years.
Yeah, he's got one of them faces, hasn't he? Good on him.
Yeah,
good on him.
LA life, I imagine. But he's I always thought that was great that they had him because I really liked We Are Scientists at the time as well. But it's very funny. You can tell that. I mean, what other band would have someone from another band? They're just constantly trolling, aren't they? In these expensive features, like have another band member, because so many people wouldn't even realize that. You know what I mean? Especially the Brits crowd. But yeah, I mean, I think it kind of. I think the Brits are a bit of a joke as well, so I can see why they take the piss a little bit. You know,
yeah, needs doing, especially now. Bloody hell!
Shall
we get on
Grammys,
to? No, exactly. Well, not going to get on them either, twats. I'll play the jingle. Shall I favourite lyric?
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
Mine is, I've gone for not what I would say is potentially even my favourite lyric or what I would say is the best written lyric or anything like that. I've gone for the lyric that I always think of when I think of the album. It's the lyric that hits me in the face every time.
I've got a feeling yours is going to be the same as mine now. Go on.
So mine, whenever I think of this album, mine is, yeah, but his bird said it's amazing though, so all that's left is the proof that love's not only blind but deaf. And I just can't get around that not being the lyric that is this album's lyric. Yeah, it's like the slogan of the song. I just can't. Yeah, I wouldn't even say I could probably point to another lyric and go, "That's better," and I'd go, "Yeah, you're right, that is better." But it was such a. I remember at the time, I was like so impressed by the funniness and the cleverness of that lyric. That really made me. That was one of the things when I first heard them that stood out as like, wow, because I was really interested in words and how people write stuff and put stuff together, and I was like, what? I never fucking heard anything like that in a song before in my life. Because as well, you got to think about the structure of the album. Like, there's nothing really like funny on Dance Floor and View from the Afternoon. They've got good lyrics, but there's nothing like really like amazingly witty. So then you get to Fake Tales and you hear that and you think, whoa, what have I just heard? I don't think I'd ever heard wittiness that much in lyrics at this point in my life before. Too much, but apart from pop punk, which, like that thing you sent me today, it's not witty, is it? It's just stupid college humor, isn't it? Kid humor. But yeah, it's just the go-to lyric of this album every time.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. The honourable mention to the very first lyric of the album, "Anticipation as a habit to set you up."
Well, yeah, an important one. And you could go for it. You could say, I say there's nothing that witty at that point, but undo the writer's block, 2-4, undo the writer's block, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm talking bollocks, but for some reason that's the one that I always remember. Yeah, even though there are like certain romance, obviously. But yeah, to do our favourite musical moment on the album, then? Have an album chocked full with good musical moments.
Full of them. I've got mine.
Mad sounds in your ears. They make you get up and dance. They make you get up.
I suspect we might be the same here as well, but you go first.
Yeah. So mine's the end of a certain romance, the crescendo in a certain romance.
The solo, the whole end of How could it not be? Like, for every single band member as well. We don't have to segment band members for that. It's everyone's 10. Yeah. So how could it not be the best moments album? I will give a little shout out though to Helder's drums review from the afternoon, as I always do.
Of course, yeah.
But that if you're gonna say to me what's an individual band member's best moment on the album, that could be an interesting one. Could we do that off the cuff between us? We don't have to say different ones, but what's Helder's best moment on the album is the view from drums, definitely.
Yes.
And Andy's best bass is
Rick's or certain romance.
Or certain romance, scales of balance. I'd probably maybe say certain romance just because of Jamie's. So I want to say "Still Take You Home" riff.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say the same.
And Alex.
Or the lead on Mardy Bum for Jamie as well.
Oh yeah, that too. And Alex's best musical moment. And if we're talking singing, if that counts for Alex, because it'd be unfair to do guitar. I'd say if we're talking singing, his best singing moment on the album is probably could be Certain Romance, could be Mardy Bum though, couldn't it? So deliciously sweet.
If we're going musical for Alex,
Right Van for me.
Right Van as well. I'd like to give a shout to the solo at the start of Dance Floor as well.
Yeah, that was very. As much as we say about it, that was so exciting when we first heard it. That song, that video as well. Seeing them play it, and they just look like us. They just look normal. They look better than us, but they look normal. More normal than us. But you know what I mean. Just a goof of lads. So,
Jesus,
shall we play the last clip, and then we'll say goodbye after that?
Yeah, let's do it. So, obviously, in the early days, the band, obviously, as we know, when the first single went to number one, they didn't go and appear on Top of the Pops, as was the custom back then. The only show they appeared on, they did Jules Holland, later with Jules Holland, and played 3 tracks on there, and they also went on Pop World with Simon Amstel, which you wouldn't think would be all right there, mate.
Yeah, I just think Tis was an old reference, the years that we were born, probably. Never mind a reference now. What the fuck's happened to me?
I think it was over before we were born, and we still.
I think it gets referenced in Partridge or something like that. It gets referenced in something else, so it's in my head because of that. That's the reference, yeah. Anyway, go on.
But yes, they went on Pop World on Channel 4, which had a lot of weird features. I remember Simon Amstel interviewing Britney Spears, but no, it's Lamar from afar, and they interviewed Lamar, but they shouted the questions across a car park.
Yeah, Pop World was good for a time. Yeah, and this was peak Pop World. I remember Baby Shambles around this time doing a very good interview on there as well. If you're in on the joke with them, then it's good, and I think that's why the band chose it. So, shall we have a look/listen?
Everyone's talking about hot new band, the Arctic Monkeys.
So have you heard about those Arctic Monkeys? No.
So I've come here to Portsmouth, where they're playing live, to see what all the fuss is about. It's the Arctic Monkeys. Hooray! Everyone's very excited. The Arctic Monkeys. All.
Big's not the issue for me. I just like to be important.
Come on, be excited. It's supposed to be like the next big thing.
Well, it's supposed to be, but probably aren't.
You think you might not be?
I don't know. We're just the big thing now. It's not even next.
Are you buying this?
The music to move people.
Let's go along with it.
Yeah.
I wish you'd stop ignoring me, keep sending me to despair. Without a sound, you're calling me, and I don't think it's very fair.
I've got the bus rules.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But rules and then tips.
Yeah.
Tip 6, when the tour bus is stationary, the slightest movement can be felt all over the bus, including any bunk activity.
Yeah. Some people sleepwalk and things, but obviously in a bunk you're a bit... So, any bunk activity, that's what bunk activity means.
I see.
Well, stop making the eyes at me, I'll stop making the eyes at you.
Now you two, I assume you're the sexy members of the group.
Yeah.
And the other two are like the comedy members.
Yeah, that's been said before, yeah. Absolutely.
Can you be funny as well, though?
No.
Okay.
I bet that you look good on the dance floor. I don't know if you're looking for romance or I don't know what you're looking for. I said I bet that you look good on the dance floor.
Your song, I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor. I read recently that one of you said that you found it a bit... Who said it?
Wow. Alex.
Just so we're clear now, you can put it right. How is the single?
Out of 10.
I'll say it.
10 being...
Yeah.
and 1 being right good.
No, just say it.
5.
I actually didn't like it at first, and now I do like it.
Oh.
Why didn't you like it first time?
Yeah, I thought it was rubbish.
I bet that you look good on the dance floor. I don't know if you're looking for romance or what. I know what you're after. Said I bet that you look good on the dance floor.
Let's talk about the obsessive fans. How obsessive are they?
Not as obsessive as one might imagine. I don't know, from the outside.
They never insist that they go on the tour bus with you and touch you.
We just kind of insist that amongst ourselves, really, between inter-band relations.
Oh, you just touch each other?
Yeah.
Like blood party?
Usually. Do they touch each other?
A little bit. I think we need to end the interview with some sort of big moment, because I feel it's been quite sort of, quiet.
Compared to the other ones.
The other two were quite funny. You've been quite sort of morose. Arctic Monkeys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan because I'm very cool.
You didn't like it though, did you? No.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I think when I first saw that, I was like 15, and I didn't really know Simon Amstel or anything like that, so I didn't think I knew it were obviously a joke, and the band rid on it, and I think I just thought it was an awkward interview. And then obviously I realised, and yeah, very funny. He's very funny, old Amstel, isn't he? Yeah.
That was peak. That was peak that period. That was, wasn't it? Amstel absolutely bossing.
Peak Amstel is from the first minute of that, when he says, "New band that everyone's talking about, Arctic Monkeys," and it cuts to the guy. You know about Arctic Monkeys? He goes, "No." Yeah, that's Peak Amstel. But yeah, no, they're funny, and I think you can see at the end there when Andy and Matt laugh. That obviously, it's all. It's all part of it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But again, people misinterpreted that and think that they were awkward and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think with the right interviewers, they're good, you know. You got that really like when they feel comfortable. That's why they didn't do stuff that they didn't want to do, because it's not comfortable, is it? You can always tell when they're doing an interview that they don't really want to do. Rather than one that they do. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be the same.
Yeah.
Right.
That's about that. So bye-bye.
28 episodes in a series down. So thank you everyone for tuning in over the past nearly close to 30 episodes.
I'll see you in two months, Nick.
Yeah, you will. I mean, are we not going to speak in that time at all?
No, I'm gonna live it like the audience are and just not speak to you for 2 months, and then they'll come back. So next time we speak will be now when this ends. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Need a break. No, I'm joking. We're going to be very busy, as we've said, doing other stuff. But yeah, it's the end of the era, and I'm sad to see it go. But I'm excited for the next part to begin. In fact, I was very sad to see this go, but by the end of this wrap up, I'm now very content to see it go and want to get to the next bit. So
we've done closure now, haven't we?
Is intended. Yeah, we have. Yeah. And that, my friend, is what they call closure.
Thank you to everyone who's, whether you've just tuned in for a couple of minutes of an episode, whether you've picked and chosen your episodes, or whether you've stuck with us all the way through. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Go in the episode description. If you're a subscriber, thank you. You can go on our Patreon, or you can subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. There's a free trial on Apple Podcasts at the moment, so you can get loads of bonus stuff, including our last Shadow Puppets pods and our watch-alongs and all sorts of other stuff. And go in your episode description and find all our social media there. Follow us on them. Like, rate, review, anything to spread the word. Tell someone on the bus. Go mental. Right, we will be back in a few weeks with series 1.5. We'll be dropping 3 episodes at once for that. And then we'll be back end of May with series 2, commencing with Brianstorm. But keep an eye on our social media, because we've got some other stuff coming up very soon as well that I'm sure you, if you're quite happy to listen to us talking shit, then it might be your type of thing. So keep an eye out for that.
More excitingly, when we come back, we'll be imminently about. We'll all hopefully most of the listening in the UK will be imminently about to go and see Arctic Monkeys. That's gonna be a very exciting time. Yeah. I'll be there, yeah.
Oh, God, I'm getting all excited now. If we're not dead by then.
Well,
I'm watching you,
chance.
Putin. Right, that just about wraps it up. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone, and thank you so much. Say thank you, Dan.
I miss you already. Thank you. Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Bye, everyone. We'll play the closing title.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.